We've got about a minute left and then we'll start the meeting.
Larry Bowman and Greg Fagley, both from Terre Haute, that will be that appraisal.
Okay.
So I'll copy these and send them to you.
Okay.
And they'll share data, so it's, and once you get the info from them, Lori thinks that Larry can probably give you a rough idea of what the cost is.
That'd be great. Okay. You stand and join me in the pledge allegiance. We'll call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I do have our lawyer, Terry Mossett, on speaker on a Teams meeting, and also Hannah Clendening from Barnes and Thornburg for some things we've got to discuss. So if you know that up front, then you know what's going on. All right, Amy. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
What do you have for us this morning, Amy?
Minutes from last meeting.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the minute?
Motion on the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Last Taylor registered.
Okay. Payroll register. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? What else, Amy?
Your last meeting, the snowplow escort agreement.
Terry, how do you feel about that snowplow escort agreement? Are we good? The guys, Brant and I discussed it a little bit this morning. Are we ready to put that in place?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Any discussion? John, did you? Okay. I'll make a motion. I entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion.
Right.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? All in favor? Okay.
That's all I have, is all your other.
All righty. Thank you, Amy. Jerry, I think some of what you have in your docket will include Hannah and Perry here, so if you want to go ahead with what you've got.
Yeah, well, first I have a speed limit recommendation.
Okay,
This is on 100 East from Old 41 to 350 South. Goes through Paxton. There's no speed limit posting there at all now. Recently paved, people were driving pretty quickly. And high home density and so forth in there, a few slight hills. So I have a recommendation of posting that at 25 miles an hour. And I've sent that information to Terry. Terry has prepared an ordinance,
okay.
speed limit ordinance, to make that 25 miles an hour.
From old US 41, this says US 40. You correct that on there, in the copy that I've got.
Yeah, I got US 40 on mine.
Okay, yeah, the typo.
Okay.
So if you guys want to make a motion to post that at 25, we can correct the ordinance.
Francis?
I'll make a motion
Yeah.
to accept it.
Okay.
That's
Got
correct.
a motion from John, second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay.
Next, I have, you're aware of all the issues we're having with the detour traffic on State Road 48, bridge closure. John and I met with NDOT a couple weeks ago, and they've agreed to allow us to change the unofficial detour route. County Road 900 East from, or 900 North from 200 East and 375 East is just blowing up. It's a paved road. And so they've agreed to allow us to change the unofficial detour route, so they'll pay for the damage on 900 East.
Okay.
That'll be a real expensive fix. It'll be involved completely digging out a bunch of areas of the road,
So-
rebuilding the base from the ground up and putting down some asphalt wedges.
Okay.
So I have that paperwork from NDOT that needs signatures if we agree we want to change the unofficial detour route.
What, and I'll just go back to question is, John, what's happened to the current unofficial detour route? What kind of shape is it in?
Right now, it's not bad shape, but
Okay.
I said we did a lot of work just through the county, you know, what I mean,
Okay.
getting that up to stuff, but semis were using that 900, that's what blew it all apart.
So financially, this is probably the best way to
That's
do
what,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
financially, for it's gonna cost a bunch of money to fix that
Okay.
900 back up, so.
Okay. Any questions or conversations on this? Have a motion?
I'll make
Fine.
a motion.
John got a motion?
I'll second.
Okay,
So a second, all in favor?
so I would check the detour approved and it doesn't really show whether it wants one or three signatures, but as
Just all
long
three
as
sign it?
you guys sign
Go
it.
ahead, sign.
Just all three sign it?
Next, I have two hold harmless agreements, both with QC Communications. One of them is installing fiber for internet access down around the West Village Drive and around the new area where the hospital's building. And the other one is on Frank Street.
Okay.
And so they just, like I say, fiber, they've posted bond for those roads. So
Okay, everything's in place and Terry's good with everything?
Terry prepared these whole
Okay,
bonds.
okay.
Yeah, I prepared them, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Entertain a motion on these two?
I'll make a motion.
So,
Okay. Motion and second, all in favor? Yeah, okay. It's single signatures for. just
Yeah,
one.
he prepared those, a single thing.
You need me back or?
Yeah. I have another hold harmless for Heartland. This is just for tree clearing along a tree row, because of the, state bat date requirement.
Okay,
And so it's for that work alone. And there's a bond of $300,000 associated with that.
and Terry prepared that.
Terry prepared that. bond.
Guys got any conversation or questions about this? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion. Bob signs it.
so,
A motion and second, all in favor?
And the last one I have is also a hold harmless. It's for Sycamore Riverside. It's for the preliminary work before any approvals or road use agreements are in place. But it's also for some clearing and some geotech work.
Okay. And they've already signed that, correct?
No,
They have not signed that?
they haven't.
Okay, they're waiting on us to sign first. Okay. Have a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion.
so,
Second, motion and second, all in favor?
And the final thing I have is we've got a landowner owns property on both sides of Old 41, needing to get a water line bored underneath. We don't have a hold harmless for that agreement, but I think time is a little bit of the essence. So if you guys would want to approve that for signature, I'll have Terry prepare the hold harmless and require a $10,000 bond.
Okay, okay. Any
Which
conversation?
company is that, Jerry?
It's a private landowner.
they're probably in only south of Carlisle on over 41.
Okay, okay.
Just approving it now, and then I'll have you prepare I'll get you the info to prepare the hold harmless, Terry, and then it'll be ready for us.
Okay.
All right, have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
So,
That motion second, all in favor?
That's all I have.
That's all you got? All right. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry, while you're up, the stop sign beside England Drive. Talked to a resident out there a while back. Has it been installed yet? He didn't think it had. The one we talked coming on to England Drive in our right of way.
Yes.
It has been installed?
I haven't seen it. I told Tom to install it. He told
Okay.
me he did.
I talked to the landowner or a resident out there about a week ago and he wasn't sure it was up yet, so,
Okay, well, he would have called in locates,
okay.
waiting for the locates to install it, but I knew he called in the locates to install the sign.
And I
So
had
I'll
another-
double check on that.
Okay, I had another concern too about, it's a kind of a double-sided thing there, but down 300 south, east of 41, that goes out there, and there's a bridge out down there. Well, Google still takes them out, takes people out there, and had a resident talk about an old couple that got stuck down there and helped them get out and around. But can we put a bridge out sign down there at 41, and then can we make an application to Google Maps to let them know that road is closed at that, what, about a half mile out, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Terry, what do you have for us this morning?
Couple things. Hey, Jerry, it looks like I was looking at my notes on THE Towers the third. It looks like I've prepared a hold harmless. What's the status of that one?
Did you catch that, Jerry?
Yeah, I'll have to check. Did you guys not approve that in the last meeting?
We did a tower one not too long
Okay.
ago.
I
Yeah.
think I'd have to go
Yeah, I
back
just
and
wondered if I
check,
could-
Terry. We get so many of these, I can't keep them, I have to check records,
I
but
know, that's why.
I
Yeah, that's why I looked at my notes and I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I believe they approved that at their last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, and then the other one was Frontier. I had in my notes too. Did we approve their latest one that was requested?
Yeah, I think we did approve that one also.
Okay.
Okay. And then, Bob, I don't know if you want me to try to go down some of these. Like, I've got a road use agreement from Maple Creek that I had in my notes. We were going to consider it this morning's meeting.
And do you want to do that or do you want to let Hannah do that? It's up to you guys. I don't care.
It's okay with me if Hannah does it since she prepared or was at least involved in the preparation of these. Because I had that, and then I have Maple Creek, the second reimbursement agreement, Crossroads Copia reimbursement agreement. So those three for sure I know. If you want to have Hannah, if you're available, you can go ahead and kind of take over now. I think that's all I have, Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, I can talk to
Okay.
some of those. I think the Crossroads reimbursement agreement, they were going to postpone that one based off of Rick's
Okay.
latest update.
That's what I thought too. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the Maple Creek 2 reimbursement agreement. I think we were hoping to approve that, but I have not heard anything from the developer on that one. So
Okay.
they might want to postpone that one as well.
So all I have is road use agreements in front of me. Amy, what, do you have anything other than Maple Creek for?
The road use agreement and commissioner's resolution approving road use agreement. That's all I've
That's
received.
all I've got on Maple Creek.
That's all I've received.
So maybe Maple Creek's the only one we're going to deal with then. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the road use for Maple Creek, which we've talked about, for several months at this point. And the reason it's been taking that long is we've used it as an opportunity to really get it right and use it as the form agreement moving forward. And so the most recent additions, everything's been signed off on by the county. And so we just were going to go ahead and get that approved if the commissioners are willing to do so, just because these projects are all going to start construction and be good to get them moving. But the most recent stuff that was added were a couple of things from Bob, like increasing the liability up to $5 million, the bonding amounts, increasing those a bit, and then Jerry had some gravel road pre-treatment standards that, as a rule, any gravel roads would have to undergo that process prior to the pre-construction inventory that's done. So any other roads that might need to be repaired prior to construction, that would still happen. But as a rule now, the gravel roads would all need to be put through this process. And I don't know if Jerry wants to be part of that, but those are the most recent things. Everything else has just been sort of tighten it up, all the standards in a way that has made sense to both commissioners and Jerry, and in close coordination with Maple Creek as well.
Jerry, did you have any comments on any part of that?
No, that was, we had that meeting, what was it, Hannah, a week or two ago, and all those changes were incorporated.
Okay, just want to make sure before we
Yep.
put this to a vote that everybody's good with everything.
Yeah.
John, Brant, any
Yeah, I'm
questions?
good with it too.
Okay,
I think the big thing after our experience with prior projects was the gravel road picture.
Correct.
The Portland cement stabilization should help us a lot through the winters.
okay, okay. John, Brant, do you have any discussion on this? Either one?
No.
Okay. So we are going to be signing the resolution approving the road use agreement with Maple Creek Energy. Is that correct, everybody?
Yeah.
Sure we're on the right thing? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a motion, do I have a second? Second. Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Okay.
And then Hannah on Deriva, are we ready to do anything on that, or is that going to be postponed too?
I believe that should be at least considered today. So the current status is that the 3 project agreements, so the amendment to the EDA, the road use agreement, and the decommissioning agreement are all signed off on by both sides. As far as the form of the agreements go, and they just need to be approved by you guys. So as a refresher, the amendment to the EDA really just accounts for the delay in the construction timeline, and then adjusts some of the dates associated with certain things like posting of bonds and providing the guarantee accordingly, like based off of that delayed construction timeline. So, and then cleans up a couple other technical things and revises the project site area based off of the current request in front of the council to change the area for abatement, but not changing any of the terms related to the abatement, if that makes sense. But that's the council's purview.
Right.
And then for the road use agreement and the decommissioning agreement, the road use agreement has been updated to conform with all of the other changes that were made to the Maple Creek agreement so that it's consistent now, as well as changing the date for the bonding to be done based again off that delayed construction timeline. So all the bonds and everything will need to be posted by, I believe it's the end of this month now. And then decommissioning agreement, the only changes are to change the date for the bond based off of the construction timeline. So
Okay. And we have 3 representatives from Deriva here this morning, so I know I've had several discussions with them about several things. And I see several labor leaders and members here this morning that are interested in a discussion that's probably going to happen. So the commissioners have any questions? I'm not sure which one of you fellows is the lucky one that gets to answer questions this morning.
Can we finish Maple Creek first?
Oh, we hadn't finished Maple Creek?
No.
I thought we,
Yeah, the road use agreement, you got
sorry. Okay. The road use agreement on Maple Creek. We need to take a vote on that?
I'm sorry, Bob. I thought there was already a motion in a second. I was already looking for the other one.
This one says approving the road use agreement with Maple Creek Energy LLC.
Okay, you still gotta sign it.
We still got to sign
Okay.
the, so we just got to sign this paper.
This is just the
Oh, okay.
resolution.
Yep, okay. We just signed the resolution. Okay,
Okay.
do I have a motion to sign the actual road use agreement?
Make a motion with
Okay,
it.
got a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay. Sorry, Amy, I thought we'd done everything. We'll let you keeping us on track. Okay, before we go on to Deriva, is there anything
No,
else?
yeah.
Sorry about that. All right. So I think some of the commissioners might have some questions for folks from Deriva. You may have some questions from the public too, so whoever gets to be a lucky one to stand up.
Yeah, so happy to do that. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming and thank you for the interest in the Sullivan County Power Project. I'm Brendan Andrew. I lead solar development for Deriva. I've got with me Patrick Walsh, who many of you know, who's been the lead developer on this project, and Patrick Smith, who works on our development engineering team. So as I think Hannah mentioned on the phone, we're here to request approval of the EDA amendment, the road use agreement, and the decommissioning agreement, which are really the final pieces of the puzzle for us to initiate construction on this site. The Sullivan County Power Project, just going through a little bit more background since we have a lot of new faces here who may not know, but it's a huge investment in the community and could be transformational in terms of the tax revenue and other investment in the community. It's a $500 million investment. Will generate $125 million in direct tax payments, pilot and EDA payments over the project life. So that's over $3 million on average a year. Most of that coming from unrestricted discretionary payments from EDA payments and pilot payments. So we're really excited to be on the doorstep of bringing this project to construction. It's a shovel-ready site. I know there's been a lot of projects proposed in the county. It takes a lot of work to get from proposing a project to where we are today. And Hannah mentioned, there's been some delays in some of the study processes. So that's why we're here really requesting an amendment to push out that timeline to allow us to enter into the EDA and lock in a lot of those benefits for the county. The road use and decommissioning agreements, really, I'll hit those first, and I'll talk a little bit about the EDA. The road use and decommissioning agreements are really what protect the county roads and protect the county in the case that the project, if anything happens to the project, there's money set aside to remove all the infrastructure and return it to ag production. The EDA is the document that locks in a lot of those benefits that I mentioned at the top. So that's where we are obligated to make these EDA payments and pilot payments that over the life of the project amount to over $100 million that goes directly to the county, and the county can spend as they want, rather than, going through normal tax means and maybe getting swept to Indianapolis. These will stay in the county. In addition, there's provisions on the labor front, which I know Bob, you mentioned. So the EDA is where we have the requirements to pay prevailing wages, to maximize local labor and local jobs, and to make sure that 15% of the folks on site are meet apprenticeship requirements through validated apprenticeship programs. The other important provisions in the EDA that I think it's important to remind folks of is that's the document that puts restrictions on where we can place panels. So setbacks from the town of New Lebanon, from roads, from neighboring residences. It's also the document that puts certain environmental and vegetative screening requirements in place. So screening the project with vegetation so that it's not, neighboring residences have something between them and the solar project. And also, importantly, is where the road use and decommissioning requirements stem from. So overall, we are really excited about this project. We think it's a great investment in the community and will be really important for the county tax rolls going forward and generate a lot of revenue for the county that can either be used for new programs or to reduce the tax burden on existing residences. We kindly request approval of the, it's up to you guys. We kindly request approval of the road use agreement, the decommissioning agreement, and the EDA amendment today.
Okay, and I'm gonna, just so you know, anybody that's here because of you're in a trade, if you raise your hands, I'd really appreciate it, please, to kind of show you the support that they're bringing to this meeting so that you understand. And this is a large population of our county.
Right.
And gentlemen, I thank you all for raising your hands. I didn't see if there's any ladies out there or not, but I know you have ladies in the trades too. The tri-trade agreement, we've talked, I know Patrick and I've talked several times about this. And I think the curious question is, I think we have laborers, operators, and electricians all recognized here this morning. They're the ones that want to know if you're going to honor this tri-trade agreement.
We're definitely, so I'm excited to talk about the labor piece of it. I know that's a concern. So as I talked about, the EDA is what has requirements to pay a prevailing wage and also to maximize local labor. We've been working with our contractor, finalizing our EPC agreement and working with them on local labor studies. And we expect a very high percentage of jobs on the site to be met with local jobs and local labor. 250 to 300 jobs we expect to be local jobs from this community at the peak construction. And that includes folks from the three trades you mentioned, right? The laborers, electricians, and operating engineers. So that it's going to be a big job creator, 250 to 300 jobs at peak construction, local jobs in the community, and a very high percentage of total jobs will be local.
Okay. So I don't know if you had a representative from each one of the locals that here that would like to ask any questions, just to keep, just to keep it so we don't have, not here all day. Are you any questions from any of the trades? Buzz?
Yeah, I'd like to see you guys make a commitment in writing on the tri-trade agreement. All the requests keep coming to this table, but none of them get met on the other end. I'd like to see a commitment in writing about the tri-trade agreement. So we're not bringing in carpenters and other crafts that aren't affiliated with the work, have no jurisdiction over that work.
Yeah. Well, so what I think we're committing to in the EDA is the prevailing wage requirements, which makes sure we're paying union wages, prevailing wages, the local labor, maximizing local labor, and the apprenticeship requirements. So that's what the commitment is in the EDA, and that's what we're comfortable committing to right now. We are continuing to work with our contractor to finalize that agreement, and we'll be continuing to work with them on sourcing local labor. But the commitments in the EDA are really important to protect the county and to protect, local jobs. So we think that the EDA is a really good agreement to maximize the local jobs.
Any other questions from another trade?
Again, we feel the tri-trade agreement's a good, fair agreement. And if they're not willing to sign an agreement, I'd ask that we don't move forward with any of their stuff.
And we've had lots of conversations, and commissioners had conversations just amongst ourselves about making any decisions. And we feel like we would like to see the same thing. We'd like to see a commitment from you in writing that you're going to use the tri-trade agreement. We're not going to try to, hold you at gunpoint or anything like that, but we are really going to encourage you that we would like to see something in writing. Comments from anybody else?
I agree with that also. I think the tri-trade agreement would be the best way to go in your area. We'd like to see a commitment with that.
Yeah, I would just say, the local labor component in the EDA, and I think working with our EPC as we're finalizing that agreement, and finalizing that labor strategy, it's ultimately the contractor that's going to be the one hiring and in charge of hiring local folks, right? And so we're working with them to finalize it. So really what we need is moving forward on the road use agreement and the decommissioning agreement so that we can finalize that agreement and enter into the EDA. But I think, we are definitely committed to continuing conversations and, with folks as we continue to finalize our labor strategy.
So, and I know everybody knows the answer to this question, but who pays your contractor? You do, right?
Yep.
So I think you hold some sway there. And I got a feeling just from conversations that I think we're willing to sign part of these agreements, but I think the EDA, we're going to hold aside on unless you guys feel differently about anything, until we have something from you and your contractors. So, like I say, I've not held anything back. I've told you guys in conversations all along that I want some commitment from you guys. So,
I think, so from our perspective, the EDA is really the document that has all of the benefits for the county. So I think it's important to move forward with all three in tandem since the documents all work together. So it's up to you ultimately, but I'd strongly request, I guess, that you guys consider moving forward with all three. And in good faith, we can continue to have conversations around the labor strategy moving forward.
any other comments?
Can I
Local
chime in
labor
with
you're talking
something for a
about, you
second?
don't have enough
Hang on just a second.
I just want to
Skilled
clarify
at-
that the,
without the,
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
Hang on a second, Hannah. Go ahead, John.
I said, you keep talking about the local labor, we don't have that kind of a amount of people that's skilled in that type of work.
Yeah, I think there will definitely be jobs available for laborers, electricians, and operating engineers. There's no question about that in my mind. 250 to 300 jobs we think can be met with the local population here and will be met at P Construction. So we're absolutely committed to local folks and to employing, electricians and laborers and engineers or operators.
We got a comment here in the back.
May I address the commissioners on behalf of the tri-trade union? I would like to read this to you. I put this together.
Can you hear Hannah and Terry?
I would like to to appeal.
I can't hear very, I cannot hear.
Okay, I need you to speak up, please.
I would like to appeal to your practical, logical, and strategic side on behalf of the Tri-Trades Union. First, keeping jobs local only makes sense. Here's why. According to AI, Sullivan County began a significant climb, being one of the state's poorest and highest unemployment counties around the late 2010s and early 2020s, following a period of intense focus on workforce training, development, and infrastructure investments such as solar energy after being consistently ranked among the bottom of Indiana counties. Key aspects of the turnaround include ranking improvement because local officials indicated that the county rose from the bottom 5 in unemployment just prior to 2020 to a significantly better standing with a 2024 poverty rate of 13.9%. It further stated that the county has transitioned from heavy reliance on traditional declining industries towards redevelopment, such as the 63 North Economic Development Area and the large Bear Run Solar Project. The economic drivers are investments in solar energy products on previously mined land have created jobs and generated new tax revenues, creating a comeback narrative. Then, with workforce development caused by Work One teams focusing on training grants, school systems have implemented career to classroom initiatives to keep talent in the county. I would also include the trades union investing and teaching skills to county residents, therefore improving our economic stability. As of 2024-25, the county has seen a steady increase in median household income and the reduction in median household income and reduction in poverty, While in 2022, it was ranked in some data sets as high as low as the 13th lowest earning county. Recent 2025-26 data shows continued through still challenging economic improvement. It only makes sense to continue to employ local talent through union trades, Work One development, and career to classroom initiatives. On a much more personal note, to me, the amount of money donated to local charities by the trades union and partnering solar energy projects, because the jobs remained local. Tri-Trades unit should be Tri-Trades, sorry. Union jobs donated thousands, and I can tell you, I don't have an exact figure, but I know of over $4,000 personally that I know that they've put into it. $4,000 to brown baggers. Travis Runyon held weekly meetings and passed around a donation bucket, which then was donated to brown baggers, therefore investing in our future leadership of our county, state, and country. Just look at the benefits of brown baggers. Our children are being fed. They are no longer food insecure. We are bridging the nutritional gap, academic achievement by providing weekend meals is linked to significant improvements in reading and math test scores. Our program is responsible for the shrinking test score gap between economically disadvantaged students and their peers by approximately 15%. Another benefit is improved attendance. Notably, they are less likely to miss school on Fridays, which is typically the day the food is distributed. Another benefit is that the teachers report that well-nourished students exhibit better focus, longer attention spans, and fewer behavioral issues or trips to the principal's office. Then there is the mental and emotional well-being. By having access to consistent food reduces food anxiety and the stress of not knowing where your next meal is coming from. It has been shown to improve self-esteem and emotional resilience in these children. Then there's physical health. These programs mitigate risks associated with malnutrition, such as developmental delays, chronic diseases, and frequent trips to school nurses for hunger-related ailments. We are also a financial relief for families. Our program helps low-income parents stretch limited food budgets, often helping them manage the benefits cliff where assistance like SNAP may fall short. We are a lifeline to children. The contributors, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. to brown baggers are our lifeline to be able to provide these benefits to underprivileged children. Some of the contributors have been the trades union, the solar projects, and their companies that have matched the donations given by our local workers. So in good conscience, can you really afford to outsource these jobs to people from other states or countries who don't care about our county? In my opinion, knowing that these solar projects are going to continue, the logical and practical and strategic decision, the right decision, is to keep the jobs here for our local families to benefit from in multiple ways. Thank you for your time and attention in this consideration of the facts.
Okay, appreciate that very much. Okay, Hannah, you were ready to say something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that, so there is an existing EDA in place, that the vast majority of all the benefits the Deriva folks were mentioning, are already provided for and signed off on formally, and, you know, contractually, everybody is bound by that. What's up for consideration today is an amendment that really just makes a couple technical corrections based off of the delayed date. If, you know, I hadn't been made aware of these labor concerns until right now, really, and if, you know, there's something we want to add into the amendment related to that, great, we can do that and maybe approve it at the next meeting. But otherwise, the amendment itself is not necessarily accomplishing everything that the Deriva folks just described. It's just amending a couple of the more technical terms about timing, you know, who the parent company that's going to do the guarantee of the EDA payments is, and things like that. So I just wanted to clear that up. But whatever path you guys choose to take as far as approval goes, up to you.
Discussion amongst commissioners?
Hannah, when was that first agreement signed? Do you know what it was on it?
That was one of the ones at the end of December 2022.
4 years ago. And this is just an amendment to change the companies and stuff like that since they've sold out.
Company name? and-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and since there's been the delay with MISO and, you know, the construction queue for them, and related construction processes and all that.
I think we need to discuss some more on this tri-trade in the amendment process.
Okay.
I mean, I understand.
Updated, yep.
So are you guys open to discussing that some more?
Absolutely. I mean, it's up to you guys to kind of move forward and do it. I would say, yeah, what Hannah mentioned, I think, yeah, so clarifying the company name that's on the EDA, all of that, we're absolutely committed and have been in 2022 to using as much local, or providing as much local jobs as we could. And that's what we've been kind of solving for up to this point. So we are trying to maximize the benefits to the community through, again, making these pilot and EDA payments, employing as many local folks as we can. And that's where, you know, working with our contractor, we think we can have a very high number. So, you know, it's up to you guys, but I would say, I think the EDA is accomplishing a great deal in terms of, you know, in terms of providing those benefits to the county.
I'll also, oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear very well. My bad.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Go ahead, Hannah.
I was just going to add too, so the council will also have to sign off on the EDA, and they were not going to consider that until their March 30th meeting. And is that, I think that's when the next commissioners meeting is as well. Is that correct? In the morning?
This will be our last one in March.
So point being, if you did delay, you know, consideration of the EDA amendment until that date, I don't think it would really affect anything timing wise, just because the council's not going to sign off on it until then at the earliest anyways. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay. I had another comment from another trade. Preston?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. The EPA, the EDA that you keep referencing, I mean, you can just go to the carpenters, and any person that wants to have a job, if they're from here or out of state, out of the country, will just go to the carpenters, they'll have no ticket, and they'll come out and they'll satisfy your EDA. Now, you're sitting here asking the county for permission to move forward with a major solar project. You think that going with the carpenters and satisfying your EDA is good to have a job with 0 electricians on it, but you satisfy your EDA because it's a major project. And I just want you to understand, I know it's just solar, it looks like a panel that you put out in the field. There are processes of it, and this is converting DC to AC and taking it to a substation and hooking it up. This is not carpenter work. This is electrician work. So I think what we're really saying here is we want a commitment from your company that we're gonna be putting the best skilled labor out there to put this job in.
Give him some of your personal background experience with this too, Preston.
I've been on those solar jobs for the last 2 years. So I've been on 2 separate projects and, you know, it's easy. I mean, we can pull from our local community. We can reach out to every high school in the Wabash Valley and we can get local jobs here and they can come into a local trade and they can get their foot in the door and have a way to provide a good life for themselves and their families. That's what we're trying to do here.
On your other projects, what was the completion date? Did you guys complete early? Did you complete right on time? I mean, how?
With Fairbanks, I think we did just fine. I mean, yeah, we hit our dates on everything. The commissioning part, I mean, once you get done with the project, there's commissioning, there's testing. But to my understanding, we've hit our dates.
On the construction side.
Yeah, that's project, yeah.
So I guess in response to that, I would just say our intent is absolutely to maximize local jobs. That's what we're trying to talk about today. There will absolutely be local electricians. We signed a high voltage EPC agreement with Burns McDonnell, which is a union agreement with the electricians. So I think it's absolutely, nobody's talking about busing in folks from out of town or out of the state, right? There are provisions in the EDA agreement which hold us to making, efforts to maximize local jobs.
And
So I think that's present in the EDA right now.
And I think from some of the conversations today, Brandon, nothing against you, but I think you're kind of skirting around the issue that's actually here. You are talking about using everything that's in the EDA agreement. The concern is the specific tri-trade agreement that has worked very well on 2 projects. And I think that since the council has to approve this EDA on the 30th, I think this commission here would be considered another special meeting at that same time or shortly thereabouts
Yep.
to finish everything, because you can't do anything before the council goes through theirs. But we would like to see some confirmation of your usage of the tri-trade. You mentioned from Patrick, is it right? Mentioned something about signing with an electrical contractor. We would like to see those documents to see what we know, I look at these people every day. A lot of them, my friends and neighbors.
Yep.
And when they come to me and say, hey, you didn't abide by this, I have to live with that. You guys are somewhere else. You don't have to see them. So I think we're going to consider holding this until we see some language there. I got another comment from somebody in the back who'd like to speak up. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not around the city council, all the city council supports the tri-trade agreement. Keep the work with the trades. Young man down there with the work, build a house in our city, that's what we need. That's what we need.
Randy, did you have comments?
Support, the city of Sullivan does support the tri-trade.
I have a couple. So your general contractor, I'm assuming is non-union, since you're not agreeing to the tri-trade agreement?
Well, so our contractor, they work both union and non-union jobs. They work all over the country, but.
But some are more union than not. Like Cupertino is a union contractor. Blackner is not normally a union contractor. There's other ones, so is your general contractor, what do they fall under?
I'd say they built tri-trade projects, they built non-tri-trade projects.
And as the director of the Chamber of Commerce and supporting my chamber members, we are in favor of the tri-trade agreement as well.
So the only thing I'd say, and I totally understand where you're coming from, Bob, it's important for us and for the project that we, I guess, keep the schedule on track as much as possible, right? In order to make this project a success. And I hear the concerns of the community. I would say what we've been working to is what's been in the EDA for years and making sure that we're trying to hit those local jobs numbers as much as possible. So we've been excited about the returns there, working with our contractor, and we think that there's gonna be plenty of jobs for operators, electricians, and laborers. So I understand where you're coming from, but
And the experience we have with the tri-trade has come since 2022.
Right.
Because they've built two projects.
Right.
And it's been widely touted. I mean, there's comments on the internet, so.
I'll make a motion table it till we get that council accepted that. We'll come back
are
to
you willing
special
to
meeting.
vote on the road use and decommissioning agreements today?
Hannah, Terry? You have any recommendations there? I mean, I feel like this board is wanting to see something in writing before we go any farther. And I see a lot of shaking heads in my community the same way. So
I'm just gonna try to, I want to table.
I think it's up to you guys. I mean, I think it's totally up to you guys. I mean, if you want to try to come up with some more language, or we can work on that, between now and the next meeting, I would say you can go ahead and entertain it all in the next meeting.
then we're willing to hold a special meeting if we need to get taken care of.
Okay.
Because you can't do anything before the council approves it. So,
Right.
Right.
So I think, yeah, that's where, just figuring the road use, if we can get those out of the way today, it wouldn't.
I'm gonna make a motion, we table everything till
I'll
we
second.
make a special session with the council.
I've got a motion and a second to table everything today. Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Okay, so we're gonna want to see something from you guys in writing. If you need to get a hold of Hannah, Rick, Terry, I mean, you know all the people to get a hold of, Brandon. So I appreciate you guys being here and thank you for listening. Thank you, everybody else that was here today to give your support too. That means a lot to me. So, thank you. And you gotta leave, John? Okay.
Thanks, Bob. I'm gonna hop off.
All right, you gotta catch a flight. Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks. See ya. Thanks, Hannah.
All right.
Oh,
John's got a doctor's appointment that he's been trying to get into for a month, so he has to leave, so we've got to take care of that. All right, so Terry, did you have anything else?
I think that covers everything I have.
Okay, all right. So commissioners. Brant, what do you have for us today?
We had talking about the truck with the electrical issue. We found out it's a computer component. It's gonna cost around $4,000 to fix.
Okay,
So we're trying to figure out how we're gonna go about that.
Okay.
There's some other ways, but other than that, I don't have anything else.
okay. We have some work we need to do in one of our buildings for some HVAC ductwork and a gas line into the furnace. I have an estimate of $4,500. How do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion to that effect.
Yep, I'll make a motion. We move forward with the
Okay.
HVAC works.
Okay, I got a
Can
motion.
you tell me what building it is?
The old Brown Baggers building,
Okay, thank you.
trying to get that ready for occupancy.
Were you gonna be able to have a cost on that?
Yes, we're gonna do the ductwork, yes. Yeah.
Did you have any prices on carpet?
I've got prices on carpet. Deanne has seen those. I think you still have those, Deanne? Can you hear me, Deanne? The prices on the carpet for that room too?
And were you gonna be able to cover that cost as well?
The carpet? Well, that's up to you guys. I mean, John's not here.
Until we found out from the council what's gonna happen with our budget, because, you and I had that conversation, and there were some things put into our budget, the board didn't vote to have in our budget for this.
It's not in your
year.
budget anymore.
And
Okay.
a lot of our line items got taken down to zero, so we need to find out exactly where we're at and what we can spend.
Okay. What do we have in building and structure? We still in good shape there?
I think so.
Okay, can we afford to take 10,000 out of that?
I can check.
Okay. The carpet was about 10 grand for commercial tile cover. Now, what I understand is if you guys find out you're able to do that, you will pay back the carpet cost and we'll cover the ductwork cost. Is that
We'll
correct?
have to ask, we would have to ask for an additional because
the council change our budget around.
But you'd be willing to consider that
Yeah, I mean,
if they'll let you?
either you or us will have to ask for additional anyway, unless you've got the money to cover.
I think we've got money in building and structure to do that. So,
But we don't have at this time, we would have to ask for additional.
okay. Well, to carry on, to continue this, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'll make a motion, we move forward as long as we have the money in the budget.
Okay, so that'll be 45 for the duct work, and I don't have the number in front of me, but it was about 10, wasn't it, for everything? And it could be less than that. Okay. So you make a motion then?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, I'll second your motion. Okay, all in favor? Okay. We need to have a motion to hire a new 911 director. Where'd she go? We did some interviews the other day, and I'd like to entertain a motion to hire Alicia Fox as our new 911 director.
I'll make a motion and we hire for the 911 position.
Okay, we got a motion, and I'll second that motion. All in favor? Alicia, you want to stand up and introduce yourself to everybody?
My name's Alicia Fox, and I've been the dispatch center for a few years now, and supervisor for a year, and I'll be accepting the 911 director position.
And Megan, did you need paperwork signed?
Yes,
Okay,
I just need the commissioner's approval of the 2027 grant for DOC.
okay. Do I have a motion to sign Megan's?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, got a motion, a second? All in favor? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Megan. And we had before us a T&M agreement, time and materials for Edge IT. Terry has looked at that, and I think you've got, Terry, did you have any more comments on that?
No, I'm okay.
Okay,
with it.
okay, so we'd like to make sure we have this in place, just so we can get the treasurer's office and the clerk's office covered for any shortfalls that we've been having with our current company. So, I'd entertain a motion to, did you see that?
The,
Time and materials only for Edge IT to cover.
It was brought to last meeting.
yeah, I made the motion. Yeah, I'll make the motion. We continue with that.
Okay, because we had to put it off because of Terry wanted to look at it. Okay. So, motion, I'll second the motion, all in favor? Okay. So we can get that taken care of that way.
Now, have we figured out the Corsica thing yet on the breach of contract?
Here is, two bids also, just wait until the end.
Okay.
New RFPs.
Today is the 16th, correct?
I made some comments about the Corsica thing in an email to all of you, so you might want to look at those.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Terry. All right. I've got sheriff down here. Do you have anything, Jason? Okay. All right.
Which is what we talked about the other day with that entity on the exhaust fan.
And you know nothing new about that yet?
Anything yet.
Okay. Okay. We have a guy here that you can talk to about that. All right. Old business. We've already covered Deriva and Maple Creek both. Is there any other old business as you came in this morning? Buzz?
So we haven't heard much of Maple Creek lately. Are we doing anything new to add to what's going on there? Is the ground being purchased, not purchased?
I think the purchase agreement was going to be up any time, and they are moving forward. The last I knew from them as far as their commitment was, they had their big piece, I think it's their transformers, which are like a year out or more. They had committed to those and had the financing for those. So that tells me that they have committed. Now, I haven't talked to the landowner lately to see if they've purchased that. Do you know that answer? Okay, okay. So that's what I can tell you. I know we did sign their road use agreement this morning. So we've got that in place. They have very little county roads they're planning on using. So,
Appreciate that. I also appreciate you guys, listening to the taxpayers, us as the trades as well.
you guys are the ones that put us in office. So I mean,
Your
that's what we're,
statement that they control the contractor is 100% spot on.
I've done enough contracting, you know that, Buzzy. Yeah.
All we have to do is agree to sign that agreement. That's project moves on just like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
If that's what they're wants to do.
Okay.
But the fact that there's opposition to sign this agreement worries us as a trades a lot.
So take that back to your people, guys, and hear the voice of the people that live in the county. Okay. All right, any other old business as you came in? All right, on to new business. I don't have anything on the agenda. Amy, we have contracts or proposals to open
Yeah,
up? Okay,
one just put in there so you can put it in. There's one of each
so
for each commissioner.
do we want to just, take these under advisement?
Mhm.
Okay. See if everything's in there. There be one for each one of us on here, is that what this is?
Yes.
Save that one for Doug.
Got a, bond check.
Okay. Okay. So you've got a bond there and you've got a proposal. Okay, I've got a bid bond here. I have a proposal. I would entertain a motion to take these under consideration with some more research. You have a chance to look over each one of these?
Yep, I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion. I'll second the motion. All in favor? Okay. You got a copy?
I got two ones.
Okay,
One should be Brandt's.
that's Brad. This is one.
Yes, and then
That's the only one.
one is put all into one folder.
Is there three proposals in
Yeah,
there?
there's three.
So pull one of each one of those out for you and me.
Well, they're all different proposals.
Oh, they're all different.
Yeah, they're all for different.
Okay. So we need to have you go through these and, okay. And then you can distribute those to us so we can look them over. Okay. Anything else we need to take care of today?
So let's get that back in the one.
Okay.
So we got,
Okay, anything else, any other new business? Ladies first.
For those who don't know, my name is Katie. I'm the director of the Sullivan County Ambulance. So just wanted to go over the monthly report for February. We had 145 runs. Most of them were in the county. We did have 12 city runs. 7 of those were not billable. I just want to kind of make you guys aware. 5 of those, we had to help with assistance because we didn't have enough people to help get the patients out of the residence. So we're starting to see an increase in that. I know you had some as well in March. But the runs that we did transport, they were also long runs. So it wasn't any coverage because they didn't have a truck on. I did attach on the third paper, just like the bill of runs for both January and February, and then you guys can see the net charges that we're at already. Obviously, things are subject to change, pass away and stuff like that. It does change those, finding insurances and whatnot. Just letting you guys know that I am about to submit 2019's stuff to Trex for anything that's still due. It's been taking me a while because I've been waiting on trying to see if some people passed away, having to edit that, and I have to get some extra information to make it easier for them to find people in case there's not still in the county technically. I've been doing 2025's end of year evaluations this month. We did a outreach with the Girl Scouts, with some medical training. We've been holding some training days, doing audit review. And then myself, Mary Ann went under multiple agencies. And then I had Brittany Grindstaff and then Donna Twilling. We went to the MRSE training, which is kind of like the LEPC, but it's for the whole District 7. So we really learned some valuable stuff there. Cassie Maharan was there and we kind of communicated on some stuff to help with the hospital. Once medical side of things kind of slow down, we can come in and possibly help the hospital in case of emergency situations. They went over a large earthquake. So we just kind of talked about some different things, and I'm gonna go over some stuff at the next fire meeting to discuss if roads go down, how we can get patients across and that kind of stuff. So that was a big thing that was kind of brought to my light because we don't have like a super, it's a very open discussion more of on what we do. So we're working on that. Also, I did speak with two different representatives for ambulance quotes, because we had discussed that a few meetings ago. Michael Kidwell, who's with SCAT 2, did get back with me. He has a quote that he's already sent to me. The other guy from fire service, Jack, he was going on a vacation, so it was gonna take a little longer. So I haven't really kind of got back with you guys a ton with it because I was waiting on those quotes. So if you guys want to look those over, I can also email those to you, but it was just kind of a quick thing. I just waited until I heard back from Jack.
And these are the specs you need.
Yes, I mean, they're pretty close. He can't do some of the modifications that we would like just because of regulations that are now taking place, safety regulations for new ambulances. But with the price range, yes, that's what he can do.
And how we considered remounts.
We talked to him about it. He said that if there's a lot of rust on the bottom, like suspected and kind of noticed, he doesn't know if that's really gonna be feasible with this truck. But new trucks, if we don't wait as long, then should be fine.
How old's your oldest ambulance?
Ooh. Randy, do you know how old that one is? I can't remember if it was the one replaced right after I joined, which was the fire, or if it was 2 years later than that. But I've been here for 8 years now, so 6 to 8 years at least.
Is our oldest one, yeah, because we replaced,
There's, 2015 was the fire.
Mhm.
So I don't know after that.
we just replaced the newest one 2 years, a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
You and I went up and got that one.
Yes.
And then there was one, what, like 6 months before that or a year before that?
About a year, yeah.
Yeah, so your oldest one is still
Quite old.
one of the fire replacements. Well, we
Okay.
replaced one from an accident too.
So that was before me too then.
Okay.
Oh, unless that was, no.
There's a new one.
Yeah, there's been several.
Was the name
I
of
think
the
we replaced
accident?
all the ones from the fire.
Okay, so
Again.
I would say probably 6 years then.
Okay. It's just a topic for us to keep.
Yes, and I can email it to you. I only.
Yeah, if you'd email this to both of us, that'd be great too, or all three of us.
Yeah, I'll send it all to you. And then contracts, we emailed about contracts for intercepts. I will just be showing you SCAT 4s. I spoke with Mary Ann and we worked on it and you guys got that email. But I just wanted to present it to you guys and make sure you were okay with it. This was the one that the wording was fine, we'll carry on. And as long as you're okay with it, then we'll have signatures and we can submit it to the billing company because there's been some issues with getting that done.
Can you say you did email this to us or you would?
That's the one I've already emailed.
Okay.
I emailed both of them at the same time.
Terry, did you see this one for Carlisle Scat 4?
I'm sorry, what was the name of it?
Carlisle Scat 4, the intercept service agreement for the Carlisle unit.
Yes. Is that the one for SCAT that they sent me for them and for Sullivan, City of Sullivan?
Yes,
Yeah, there's two separate ones.
there's two separate ones. One's for Carlisle Ambulance Service, and then the other one's for the City of Sullivan.
Yes, I did look at those, and I responded to the guy who's the head of SCAT or whatever that sent them to me. One of the concerns that he had, which after reading the agreement, I told him that I think that's still a concern, is they just wanted to make sure that there was some rules as far as going forward if the town, for instance, went ahead and just billed the insurance company, because he said that that was happening at times between, especially the City of Sullivan, I think, and that then they wouldn't know about it or whatever. So that was something that was still being discussed. I got an email from him this morning and just told me that they were still going to work on some more language for those agreements, and that they weren't going to bring it up for a vote today. Now, that's what I was told.
City Sullivan Fire, we're not going to, but Carlisle, we were gonna move forward with.
I know there's some city representatives in here. JD, you and the fire chief or whoever sit down with our director and figure something out with the contractor and the intercepts, something like that. Give a JD after and get his number or whatever.
I guess. I got his number if you,
Okay, you have a number.
I'm special.
Terry, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to accept the Carlisle ambulance one.
Okay.
I'd like to,
It's up to you guys. I'm just reporting to you what I was told. So that's up to you guys.
yeah, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to accept this agreement with Carlisle Ambulance Service
Okay.
for SCAT.
I'll second your motion. All in favor? Okay.
I'll just have you sign that one.
Need your motion, say single signature.
I want to amend my motion to second, or single
Single signature?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
second that.
for a long one. Single, I can say it now.
Signal. Thank you, Katie.
Amy, you can copy of this once it's all signed up. The Mary Ann stuff.
Did you guys keep it? Did you give it back to her?
Give it back to me.
You show out that.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
have Mary Ann sign it too, so. I just didn't want to have her sign it and then stuff changed.
Mary Ann over to Health Department this morning.
She was supposed to be, I was gonna have her come today. I don't think she,
Maybe have her go and talk to her, have her run over to the auditor's office and sign it. That way it gets signed.
sounds good. The last thing is, I sent you guys probably a month and a half ago, a quote for Hand Heavy. It is a app that we use for pediatrics, but also adults now. It helps with, making, it kind of records our documentation during things like codes and traumas. We can use voice, commands on it. That helps. So if we don't have hands to document on our phone, we can use voice. But also, it's really great for dosages. Some of our meds are in large dose vials and we have to use small increments at a time. And then obviously pediatrics, we don't know those all the same because of sizing, and age and stuff. So, we love Hand Heavy. It is used quite a bit. Even if we're just using it on the way to a run, just to kind of go over things. I can continue what I'm doing, which is just the yearly contract in a sense. You just pay for it for a year, but they quoted me for a 3-year. And then as long as I can get a check into them by the end of this month, they can reduce it a little with the state. Pays 50% of it for this coming year, and then it would stay close to that for the rest of the 2 years.
And you have money for that in your budget?
Yeah, it's already in the budget.
Okay.
If you're good with me doing that, I will do it. If not, then
Brent, I know you probably deal with that more than I do.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and do it.
Okay. I'll second Brant's motion. All in favor?
all right.
Okay.
You guys.
Thank you, Katie. All right, I saw their hand up out there. Sure.
I'll be real quick. We've already been here for over an hour. I'm Chris Hickey. For the record, I'm helping with the Sullivan County Park and Lake Drug Court project. I won't go over all the details because I'm aware that the commission is already aware of the project going on, as we've been working on it for a couple of years now. If I can, real quick, just get, we have some of the board members present. If you can just raise your hand for the Park and Lake Board, and then we have the Director of Tourism is also here. If you don't mind identifying yourself.
Copy for John. We'll put some John.
Yeah. We have our partners in the project of the Wabash Valley Community Foundation, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, and recently, the local Sullivan County Redevelopment Commission has voted and made this a priority project, for the county. So today, like I said, I'm gonna skip the numbers in essence of time. If anybody has any questions, I'll hang around with me after. But today, we're requesting, and we'll come every year, and to report on the project and request every year. But we have two things going on in the park with the Park and Lake. We have dredging project going on, and we have lakeshore maintenance around the lake that is county property. So, and what I mean by that is like we have tree risk issues that get brought to the Park and Lake's attention, and then the park board sends the guys out to go take care of trees and things like that. Or if it's really expensive, we have to contract it out. The main issue right now is we're basically fighting a battle on two fronts. We have a dredging project that we're trying to push forward and carry on, and we're maintaining county property around the lake with revenue that's generated in the campground. So it's a challenge to take on two missions at the same time, especially one as big as dredging. So the request right now is, one, we'd like to get the commissioners to vote that this is, in their minds, also a priority project. We would like to see about requesting 25,000 a year, whether it comes from economic development payments or wherever it comes from, the magic budget, for grant matching funds for the dredging project. And then 25,000 a year to help with the shoreline maintenance on county property around the lake when it's dealing with trees and risk issues associated with that. And we can come every year for the same request. We don't expect this to be automatic because we believe that we need to be given the project updates as well, moving forward. So those are our two requests today. If you have any questions, like I said, I'm trying to keep it short. Thank you for granting me this time.
You have any questions for us? Only thing I can say is we can take it under advisement, and look at it, and, budget times will be coming up quicker than we think. And have to look at it and see what we can, Brent, your opinion, what you feel like is priority on this too, but, it's a great economic driver for our county. But, whether we have the money to help or not is the question. So we have to look at our budgets and see.
Would it be possible to get a vote like we did in redevelopment to make it a priority project? Have the commission
With that, Brent?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we make it a priority project in the county.
And I'll amend his motion too, that we can make it a priority, but that doesn't mean we can do anything with it. And I'll second his motion. All in favor? Okay.
Thank you, John.
Give
Appreciate
you that much, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else with new business? Okay, I got two at the same time, sorry.
Sorry to bother you. When we put the trees in Brownbacker's name, they put the courthouse bill on us, and it's a $2,450 bill.
You made a mess.
Oh, it was a whole. it
Now,
was a
whenever
mess.
you called to have that, box turned on, you had the courthouse, the actual courthouse changed in your name.
But yes, by
Yes.
accident,
Yeah,
because that
we
was
didn't
the
receive
only
the
meter
bills.
out there.
No, there's
And-
2 meters.
Well, at that time, there was only one, because the meter was being fixed
Yeah.
or something.
Anyhow, you created a mess.
Anyway,
It took
it
2
did.
hours on the phone. I got it taken care of.
Okay.
Next time, call us before you get a meter turned on.
Okay, all right, I guess I don't need that.
Well, I'm glad we can get that taken care
Yeah,
of.
me too.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
I got the electricity shut off in here.
Did you have their,
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that the president of the board out there at the Lake, Dewey.
Yep.
He also works on layer grants and does shoreline projects to kind of help with this. That's been going on for several years, so there are measures in place that we've been doing, stuff to take care of that, but, it's 34 years too late.
yep,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
appreciate what you guys are doing out there too. Anybody else? Anything else we need to take care of before we reach?
I'll just come back quickly to this stop sign at England Drive.
Yes,
I believe that call first came in, did it come into you?
yes,
Well, the first call was towards that next intersection back onto private roads.
yes.
And we had a conversation in the meeting, and I think, and Terry was involved. And because it's on private property, we couldn't work on it.
But we talked about putting it in our right of way.
But we did decide to put one up at England. So if he says it wasn't up within a week, is he talking about the one at England or the one back at those private
I
roads?
think back at that private road, I thought we talked, we could
Yeah.
put that on our own right of way close to England, which we have a right of way on.
Yeah, we decided, we discovered there wasn't one at England stopping the private road.
Okay.
We put one up out at England, but not where he requested back. I mean, it's hundreds of feet off of England.
Right, it is.
At the intersection of private roads.
But you want to stop the traffic coming on to England, I think.
Correct.
Was a concern. Can we do that still?
Yeah, but I suspect when he says he hasn't seen one, it wasn't up as of last week.
Okay.
He's talking about the private roads
That's the one I'm talking about, yeah.
that we determined we could not put alongside.
But we can't put one even on our right of way that stops the
No,
traffic.
we can stop the
Okay.
traffic coming onto England.
Okay, that's what the concern is. That-
But I thought his request was the private ones that were back a block.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you and I need to talk about that.
okay,
We go out there and look at it if we have to.
okay, yeah.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming out today.
Okay, thanks, Bob, Brett.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.